It was 3:17 a.m. when the call came through, misdialed, muffled by tears, and laced with desperation. The voice on the other end was tiny and trembling. "Please, someone help, my Lily's dying, she's not moving." It wasn't a paramedic or emergency operator who picked up that call. It was a tired billionaire, wide awake in his silent penthouse, staring out at a city that had long forgotten how to care. He should have hung up. He should have said it was the wrong number. But something in that voice, a mix of terror, innocence, and fragile hope, gripped his soul in a way no billion-dollar deal ever had. And in that single moment, everything changed. Folded hands if you believe in kindness, in miracles, in the power of one person to change a life. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel, Rapple of Hope. Let's keep these stories of humanity alive. Folded hands. Jonathan Rayner hadn't cried in 17 years. Not when his mother passed away in a cold hospital room while he was closing his first $1 million merger. Not when his marriage dissolved in silence. Not even when he became the youngest CEO to make the Forbes list. But as he stood in his marble-floored kitchen in a robe that cost more than some people's rent, listening to the broken sobs of a child who had somehow dialed the wrong number, something cracked. Maybe it was the loneliness he'd been drowning in, hidden under headlines and boardrooms. Maybe it was guilt. Or maybe, just maybe, it was the simple sound of a child believing that someone, anyone, could help. He asked no more questions. Within minutes, he traced the call. It led to a crumbling apartment complex on the city's south end, a place his drivers were trained to avoid, a place marked by poverty, neglect, and forgotten dreams. He canceled all morning meetings. He didn't call security. He drove himself. No bodyguards. No suits. Just a man following a cry for help. When he arrived, he found her. Barefoot. In pajamas too thin for the cold. 8 years old, maybe younger. Her cheeks streaked with tears. And in her arms, a puppy, barely breathing, eyes dull and body limp. The child's name was Elsie, and Lyly was her only friend in the world. The apartment was a shell. Mold on the ceiling. One mattress on the floor. A cracked phone screen duct taped together. No food in the fridge. No parents. Just an older brother, barely a teenager, working nights at a gas station, trying to keep them together after their mother had vanished months ago and their father had never returned. Elsie hadn't known what else to do when Lyly started shaking and vomiting. So she dialed the only number she remembered from a flyer she saw on a streetlight, except one digit off. And that mistake became a miracle. Jonathan didn't leave. He wrapped the shivering dog in his cashmere coat, rushed it to the best animal hospital in the city, and stayed all night. The vets worked tirelessly. And by morning, Lyly was wagging her tail weakly, alive. But this story was never just about the dog. Jonathan couldn't walk away. He'd seen too much. Elsie's smile when she was told Lyly would make it. The haunted look in her brother's eyes when he came home, surprised and ashamed to find a stranger there helping his sister. The flicker of pride buried under years of survival. Something inside Jonathan unraveled. He realized that somewhere in chasing success, he had forgotten how to feel. Forgotten how to be human. So he started coming back. At first, it was groceries. Then a new mattress. Then school supplies. Vet bills paid without question. But soon, it was more. Saturday visits. Taking them to the park. Teaching Elsie how to ride a bike. Helping her brother, Marcus, get into a GED program. Slowly, the billionaire who once signed contracts with cold efficiency began to laugh again, began to care. He bought the apartment complex, not to flip it, but to rebuild it. Clean water. Heating. Free childcare. He started a foundation in their mother's name. Hired single parents. Gave scholarships. He didn't do it for press or redemption. He did it because one little girl had believed a stranger would help, and she had been right. But not everyone welcomed change. The landlord who used to exploit tenants sued him. The media called it a PR stunt. His board grew restless. Shareholders pressured him to pull back. He was risking his empire for strays and street kids, as one investor cruelly put it. But Jonathan stood firm. Because he had finally found something worth more than money: purpose. 1 year later, on the anniversary of the call, Jonathan stood on a newly built community playground, holding Lyly in his arms, healthy, tail wagging, watching Elsie and Marcus laugh in the sunlight. The neighborhood was no longer a place of shadows. It was blooming. Alive. And all because one scared little girl had dared to dial a number and believe.